Hey people, I welcome you back to Caroline's Online Academy. In this series of videos, we're learning the concepts involved in accounting for share capital and issue of shares. In this, we are actually currently doing reissue of shares, and in this video, in the previous video, I taught you a basic reissue problem. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to account for reissue of shares forfeited from more than one shareholder. When you forfeit shares from more than one shareholder, the profit on forfeiture for each of the shareholders might be different in certain cases. So, in case if it is different, the profit on reissue will also change. So how to account for that is what we're going to learn now. I have a question for you. Neeraj Limited issued 1 lakh shares of rupees 100 each at a premium of 20%, application 25, allotment 30 plus premium 15, first call 30 plus premium 5, second call is remaining, and remaining would be rupees 15. 120 minus 25 minus 45 minus 35. The company received 1 lakh applications and full allotment was made. Vishnu holding 2000 shares did not pay allotment money, and Sai Puja holding 1000 shares did not pay first call. So Sai Puja has not paid the first call, whereas Vishnu has not paid allotment money. Both their shares were forfeited. Out of the forfeited shares, 2,500 shares were reissued to Shreya for rupees 80 as fully paid up. All of Sai Puja's shares being reissued. In that 2,500 that was reissued, 1,000 shares belong to Sai Puja. All of the shares have been reissued. Pass necessary journal entries for forfeiture and reissue. So we're going to quickly do this, solve this problem. As you can clearly see, the shares have been forfeited from two people and it has been reissued to one person. And this is in the books of Neeraj Limited. So in the books of Neeraj Limited journal, I would rather copy that also from here. Yeah. I'll copy the whole thing. We'll delete the numbers. We'll change the narration when it happens. Okay, yeah. So you see, first thing that we got to do is forfeit Vishnu shares. Vishnu did not pay allotment. Am I right or not, my dear children? If he hasn't paid allotment, he would not have paid the premium receivable along with allotment and the premium receivable along with first call. Therefore, when premium is not paid, securities premium account will be debited. It will be debited with the amount of premium made due, which is 20 rupees, 15 on allotment and 5 on first call, multiplied by the number of shares that were being held by Vishnu, which is 20 into 2000, that is 40,000. Share capital will be credited with the called up value, as it has not been mentioned when the shares were forfeited. We are assuming that all calls are made and then the shares were forfeited. Share forfeiture will be credited with the paid up value. Vishnu did not pay allotment money, so he would have paid only the first call. Am I right or not, my dear children? So if he's paid only the first call, only 25, I'm sorry, he would have only paid the application money. Sorry, he didn't pay allotment money, which means he would not have paid allotment, first call, and second call. So only application money he would have paid. And so 25 into 2000 is 50,000. And calls and arrears is what he didn't pay. See, issue price of the shares were 120 and 25 he didn't pay. So what he did pay application money. What he didn't pay would be 95 rupees. And 95 into 2000 shares held by him. That'll be 1,90,000. All right, my dear children. So Vishnu's shares have been forfeited. The next thing to do would be to forfeit. Who's the other person who didn't pay? Sai Puja. Sai Puja's shares have to be forfeited. Sai Puja did not pay first call. So she didn't pay first call and second call, obviously. And in first call, we have premium. That premium also she didn't pay. So if she hasn't paid the premium, securities premium account will be debited. Journal entry is going to be the same. So journal entry will be same. Securities premium will be debited with the called up but unpaid portion of premium. The unpaid portion of premium is 5 rupees. 20 is the total premium, out of which 15 was receivable along with allotment. Sai Puja has paid allotment. She didn't pay the first call, in which 5 rupees premium was payable. So she didn't pay 5 rupees. So 5 into number of shares held by Sai Puja, that happens to be 1000. So this will be 5,000. And share capital will be credited with debited with the called up value on the shares. And as they haven't mentioned when the shares were forfeited, You're assuming all calls were made, and then the shares were forfeited, and therefore full 100 rupees is debited to share capital account. Share forfeiture account will be credited with the paid up value of capital. Understood or not? What is Sai Puja paid? Sai Puja is paid application and allotment. So in application, she would have paid 25, and in allotment, she would have paid 45, 70. But out of the 70, she has paid 15 rupees in allotment as premium. So the paid up value of capital is only 55 rupees. The share forfeiture account will be credited with 55 into the number of shares held by Sai Puja, which is 1000. So that will be 55,000. And calls in arrears account will be credited with the amount unpaid by Sai Puja. Amount unpaid is the first call and second call. Along with first call, she was supposed to pay 35, and second call, she was supposed to pay 50. So totally 50 rupees she didn't pay. Am I right, my dear children? So 50 into 1000 will be the amount that has to be credited to share calls in arrears account. All right. Now that we have credited, the next thing to do would be to reissue the shares. That is very simple, my dear children. The shares have been reissued to Shreya for rupees 80 as fully paid up. So we have received 80 rupees and we have considered the shares to have been fully paid up. Fully paid up means face value paid up. Face value paid up means 100 rupees in this case. We got 80 rupees and we're saying we accept that you paid 100, which means what? You're given 20 rupees discount. That is loss on reissue of rupees 20. So bank account will be debited. Share forfeiture account will be debited. Whenever there is discount on reissue or loss on reissue, you debit share forfeiture account. And obviously, when shares are reissued, share capital account will be credited. Shares reissued to Shreya. Now, how many of these shares have been reissued? They didn't reissue all the shares. They only reissued 2,500 shares. So it's a case of partial reissue also. Only part of the shares have been reissued. Understood or not, my dear children? As you can clearly see here, totally 3,000 shares have been forfeited. Vishnu's 2,000 shares and Sai Puja's 1,000 shares, but only 2,500 shares have been reissued. And therefore, bank account will be debited by number of shares reissued into the amount received per share. So that will be 2,500 into 80, and share forfeiture account will be debited with the number of shares reissued into discount given per share, which happens to be 20. That is 100 is the face value. We consider it as fully paid up, so 100 rupees paid up, but we are only collecting 80 rupees. So 100 minus 80 is 20 rupees. So 2,500 into 20. And share capital will be credited with the amount considered as paid up. It has been considered as fully paid up. So therefore, it will be 2,50,000 rupees. Now, the next thing to do would be to pass journal entry for transferring the profit on reissue to capital reserve. The journal entry for that is share forfeiture account debit to capital reserve account. Profit on reissue transferred to capital reserve. Children, whenever there is more than one shareholder and there is partial reissue, before you pass a journal entry, I want you to prepare a working note. Without the working note, you might get it wrong. So what working note are we going to prepare? This is a very important working note, my dear children. Pay attention. This will come in handy in any question that you solve in the exam, any 6-mark question. So working note, computation of profit on reissue. Understood or not, my dear children? When all are we supposed to prepare this working note? When there are more than one shareholder with different profit on forfeiture, and there is partial reissue of shares, you got to prepare this working note. So particulars. What is partial reissue? You're not reissuing all the shares. Understood. And we have two shareholders. Who all are there? One was Vishnu, and the other is Sai Puja. Vishnu had how many shares? 2,000. And Sai Puja had how many shares? 1,000. Understood or not, my dear children? Voltage W wraps it up. Come on, come on. Yeah. Voltage AM, voltage AC. All right. So that's the heading for the working note. The first thing in the working note would be the profit on forfeiture per share. You see, my dear children, what is profit on reissue that has to be transferred to capital reserve? It is profit on forfeiture minus loss on reissue per share, and that will give you the profit on reissue. See, when there is partial reissue or when there are more than one shareholder who shares are reissued, what I'm doing here, my dear children, is nothing but calculating it for one share, and then I'll finally multiply with the total number of shares reissued. Understood or not, my dear children? The profit on forfeiture per share is how much? See, the total profit on forfeiture of Vishnu's share is 50,000. Am I right or not, my dear children? And we have forfeited 2,000 shares of Vishnu. So the profit on forfeiture per share is 50,000 divided by the total number of shares held by Vishnu, which is 2,000. You might tell me that, see, straightforward. We already know that it is, it is 25 rupees and all. But in this question, in questions which has pro rata and all, sometimes it will not be that straightforward. You'll have to find out by dividing the total amount of credited forfeiture by the total number of shares reissued. And in the case of Sai Puja, it is 55,000 divided by 1,000. Am I right or not, my dear children? So it is 55,000 divided by 1,000. So the profit on forfeiture per share here is 55. Understood or not, my dear children? Now, what is the loss on reissue per share? The loss on reissue is 20 on all the shares that we reissue. Am I right or not, my dear children? What is the profit on reissue per share for both of these people? What is the profit on reissue per share for both of these people? For Vishnu Kant shares, it is 25 rupees, the profit he had, minus the 20 rupees loss on reissue, which is 5 rupees. And for Sai Puja, it is 55 minus 20, which is 35. Understood or not, my dear children? That is the profit on reissue per share on the shares of Vishnu and Sai Puja. Oh my God. See, I made an error. We only reissued 2,500 shares, right? Sai Puja shares have been reissued. The question says that, see, you can make this error. You make such mistakes, my dear children. You got to be careful. Okay. We did not reissue all the shares. Out of the forfeited shares, only 2,500 shares are reissued, and all of Sai Puja shares have been reissued. Understood? So Sai Puja had 1,000 shares, that would have been reissued. Remaining 1,500 of Vishnu shares only reissued. Understood or not? So far, the calculation and all with respect to other things is correct, but there I should have written 1,500. Understood? So total profit on reissue of these 2,500 shares is on Vishnu's 1,500 shares, 5 rupees was the profit per share. So total would be 1,500. And for Sai Puja's 1,000 shares reissue, it is 35 into 1,000. See, here while finding the profit on forfeiture, I am dividing with the total profit on forfeiture creditor share forfeiture account by the total number of shares, which is 2,000. But here, when I'm multiplying, I'm only multiplying the reissued shares of Vishnu, which is 1,500. The total is 42,500, and that, my dear children, will be your profit on reissue. With that, we have come to the end of this video, my dear children. I'll meet you with another partial reissue problem. As I said, whenever there is partial reissue, I want you to prepare this working note. It's not very complicated and all. You just find the numbers for one share. You find the profit on reissue for one share. Then it will be easier for you to multiply that with the number of shares reissued to get the profit on reissue on all the shares that you reissue. Understood or not, my dear children? All right, then with this, we come to the end of this video. You people take care, have fun, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that. Please do that. It'll help me a lot. It'll help you a lot. It'll help a lot of other people a lot. So, bye.